Section 1, A Nation Divided, the stage is set. The year is 2024, a year that will be remembered for its intense political and social upheaval. The issue at hand is abortion, a topic that has always been contentious but now feels more urgent than ever. The tension in the air is palpable, almost suffocating. America stands at a crossroads, deeply divided on the issue of reproductive rights. The nation is split, with each side firmly entrenched in its beliefs. The recent overturning of Roe v. Wade has sent shockwaves across the nation, sparking fierce debates and reigniting the flames of a decades-long battle. The streets are filled with demonstrators, each side vocal and passionate. The very fabric of women's healthcare hangs in the balance as a landmark Supreme Court case unfolds, one that could redefine access to abortion medication and shape the future of reproductive rights for generations to come. The stakes are incredibly high. The case centers around mifepristone, a medication used in the majority of medication abortions in the United States. This drug has become a symbol in the fight for reproductive rights. Approved by the Food and Drug Administration over 2 decades ago, the drug has become a focal point in the fight over abortion access. Its approval is now being questioned, adding another layer of complexity to the issue. Anti-abortion groups, emboldened by the overturning of Roe, have challenged the FDA's approval of mifepristone, alleging safety concerns and seeking to restrict its availability. Their actions have intensified the debate. This legal challenge has set the stage for a high-stakes showdown at the Supreme Court, one with far-reaching implications for women across the country. The nation watches with bated breath. The stakes could not be higher. The decision made here will echo through the halls of justice and into the lives of millions. A ruling against the FDA's approval of mifepristone would have severe consequences for women seeking to terminate pregnancies, particularly in states where surgical abortions are already heavily restricted or outlawed. The impact would be devastating. Access to safe and effective abortion medication is paramount to ensuring women have control over their reproductive health and autonomy. It is a matter of personal freedom and health. The outcome of this case will reverberate far beyond the courtroom, impacting the lives of millions of women and shaping the landscape of reproductive rights for years to come. The stakes are monumental. The eyes of the nation are fixed on the Supreme Court, watching and waiting as the fate of abortion medication hangs in the balance. The anticipation is almost unbearable. The decision handed down by the justices will have profound implications, not only for the future of abortion access, but also for the very principles of healthcare, individual liberty, and the separation of powers. This is more than just a legal battle, it's a fight for fundamental rights. This is a pivotal moment in American history, a moment where the fundamental rights of women are being fiercely contested. The outcome will define the nation's values and priorities. The outcome of this case will undoubtedly leave an indelible mark on the nation's conscience. It will be a defining moment, one that will be remembered for generations to come. Section 2. The battle lines are drawn, legal challenges mount. The legal battle over mifepristone is just the latest chapter in the ongoing saga of abortion rights in America. This contentious issue has seen numerous legal confrontations over the years, each one shaping the landscape of reproductive rights in the country. Since the overturning of Roe v. Wade, anti-abortion activists have been emboldened, filing a flurry of lawsuits aimed at restricting abortion access through various legal avenues. These lawsuits are part of a broader strategy to chip away at the protections that once existed under Roe. Their strategy has shifted from challenging the right to abortion itself to targeting the means by which women can exercise that right. By focusing on the methods and medications used in abortions, they aim to create significant barriers to access. One of the key arguments presented by the challengers in this case revolves around the safety of mifepristone. They claim that the drug, despite its long history of safe use, poses significant health risks. Despite the FDA's rigorous approval process and decades of safe and effective use, anti-abortion groups allege that the drug poses significant health risks to women. They argue that the approval process was flawed and that the drug should be re-evaluated. They point to anecdotal reports of adverse events, often taken out of context, to bolster their claims. These reports are used to create a narrative of danger and risk despite the lack of substantial evidence. However, these claims have been widely disputed by medical experts and professional organizations like the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, who maintain that mifepristone is safe and effective when used as directed. These organizations emphasize the importance of evidence-based medicine in making regulatory decisions. Another line of attack focuses on the FDA's authority to approve medications like mifepristone. The challengers questioned the legitimacy of the FDA's expedited approval process. The challengers argue that the agency overstepped its bounds by approving the drug through an expedited process, bypassing the usual safety protocols. They claim that this process was not thorough enough to ensure the drug's safety. This argument, however, ignores the fact that the FDA has the legal authority to use expedited approval pathways for drugs intended to treat serious or life-threatening conditions, especially when existing treatments are inadequate. This authority is crucial for ensuring timely access to important medications. Further fueling the legal firestorm is the claim that easier access to abortion medication will lead to an increase in so-called coerced abortions. This argument is often used to invoke fear and concern among the public. This argument, often rooted in unsubstantiated fears and harmful stereotypes, suggests that women are incapable of making their own reproductive choices without being unduly influenced by others. It undermines the autonomy and decision-making capabilities of women. Such claims not only lack empirical evidence, but also undermine women's agency and autonomy, perpetuating harmful narratives that seek to control women's bodies and decisions. These narratives are part of a broader effort to restrict reproductive rights. As the legal battle rages on, the arguments presented by both sides reveal the deeply entrenched beliefs and values at the heart of the abortion debate. These beliefs shape the strategies and goals of the legal challengers. While the challengers frame their arguments in terms of safety concerns and regulatory overreach, their true objective remains clear: to restrict access to abortion and limit women's reproductive choices. This objective is evident in the broader context of their legal actions. The outcome of this case will depend on whether the Supreme Court prioritizes scientific evidence and women's healthcare needs over ideologically driven arguments. The decision will have far-reaching implications for reproductive rights in the country. The nation awaits the court's decision with bated breath. The ruling will not only impact the future of mifepristone, but also set a precedent for how reproductive rights are treated in the legal system. Section 3. A House divided circuit courts at odds. The path to the Supreme Court is rarely straightforward, and the case of mifepristone is no exception. The journey is often fraught with legal complexities and procedural hurdles that can take years to navigate. Before reaching the highest court in the land, the legal challenges to the drug wound their way through the lower courts, revealing the deep divisions within the judicial system and the nation itself. These divisions are not just legal, but also deeply ideological, reflecting broader societal conflicts. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, known for its conservative leanings, issued a ruling that would have severely restricted access to mifepristone. This court has a history of rulings that align with conservative values, often prioritizing restrictive interpretations of the law. The court upheld the FDA's initial approval of the drug, but agreed with the challengers that the agency had erred in later years by making the drug more accessible. This decision was seen as a significant setback for reproductive rights advocates. This decision, had it been allowed to stand, would have effectively rolled back years of progress in making medication abortion safer and more accessible for women. It would have imposed new barriers, making it harder for women to obtain the medication they need. In a stark contrast, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, considered more liberal, reached a different conclusion. This court has a reputation for more progressive rulings, often emphasizing individual rights and freedoms. While acknowledging the FDA's authority to regulate medication, the court ultimately ruled in favor of maintaining access to mifepristone. This decision was celebrated by advocates for women's health and reproductive rights. The court recognized the drug's safety and efficacy, emphasizing the importance of following established scientific and medical consensus when making decisions about women's healthcare. This ruling underscored the need for evidence-based policy in healthcare. These conflicting rulings from different circuit courts created a legal quagmire, leaving the issue of mifepristone's accessibility in limbo. The uncertainty caused confusion and concern among healthcare providers and patients alike. The divergent opinions highlighted the deep ideological rifts within the judiciary and underscored the urgent need for clarity from the Supreme Court. The nation looked to the highest court for a definitive resolution. The nation watched and waited as the legal battle escalated, the fate of abortion medication hanging precariously in the balance. The outcome would have far-reaching implications for women's health and reproductive rights across the country. Section 4 to the Supreme Court. The stakes rise higher. With the circuit courts divided, all eyes turned to the Supreme Court as the final arbiter in the mifepristone case. The stakes could not have been higher. The court's decision would have far-reaching implications, not just for the future of abortion access, but also for the FDA's authority to regulate medication and the very principles of science-based healthcare policy. The case attracted an unprecedented level of attention and scrutiny. Legal briefs poured in from both sides, each presenting their arguments with a mix of legal precedent, scientific evidence, and impassioned pleas. Women's rights groups, medical organizations, and legal scholars weighed in, emphasizing the potential consequences of restricting access to a safe and effective medication. The composition of the Supreme Court, significantly altered in recent years, added another layer of complexity and uncertainty. The addition of conservative justices had shifted the balance of the court, raising concerns among abortion rights advocates about the potential for a decision that would further erode reproductive rights. The court's decision to hear the mifepristone case sent a clear signal that this was no ordinary legal dispute. This was a landmark case, one that would shape the landscape of abortion rights and women's healthcare for generations to come. The nation braced itself for what would undoubtedly be a momentous and potentially divisive ruling.